Right and wrong isn't a universal law. It is an artificial line you drew just to justify your own failures. The day you stop pretending to be pure is the day the agonizing war inside your mind finally ends. We are taught that endings have to be loud, that the death of who we are requires a crash, a breakdown, tears, or some grand, tragic fight. But the heaviest endings, they don't make a sound. They are terrifyingly quiet. You know the feeling, the sudden weightlessness in your chest, the cold realization staring back at you in the mirror. You've spent your whole life holding a gavel, judging the dirt on everyone else's hands just so you wouldn't have to look at your own. But now, you're just tired. Your grip is slipping. The moral outrage that used to make you feel so tall, so pure, is dead. It didn't die in the real world. It died quietly in your nervous system. And you're not crazy for feeling this numb. The outside world looks exactly the same, but the judge inside your head is already gone. Right now, you feel out of place in your own skin. You sit in rooms with people gossiping, tearing others down, playing the good guy game, and you just feel alien, a stranger in a room you built. But listen, it's not that something went wrong with you. It's that the pieces simply stopped fitting. You're beginning to see the self-serving bias for what it is. The unspoken rule that says, my lies are just survival, but your lies are betrayal. You're uncomfortable because your eyes are finally adjusting to the dark. Your mind is desperate for a clear, logical excuse to leave the courtroom. It wants a villain to blame so you can step down from the judge's chair with your pride intact. But you don't need a grand excuse. I am giving you the permission to just drop the gavel. You are allowed to walk away simply because this game of fake purity no longer belongs to the person you are becoming. This is why you've stopped explaining yourself. People might call you cold. They might say you become distant, isolated, or that you're just giving up. Let them talk. When you stop fighting to prove you are morally superior, you fall silent. This shutting down, this pulling away, it isn't bitterness. It is not running away. It is pure, unfiltered exhaustion. You are tired of the hypocrisy. You are tired of pretending you don't have the same mud on your boots as the people you condemn. Your silence isn't a weakness. It is, ultimately, profound self-respect. And here is where your brain will try to trick you. You will look at this emotional numbness, this lack of outrage, and you will fear that you are depressed, that you become a nihilist who doesn't care about right and wrong anymore. But do not confuse the death of your ego with the death of your soul. This numbness, it is just neutrality. It is the necessary, quiet pause between two identities. You're wiping the hard drive clean. You aren't empty. You're just refusing to run on the toxic fuel of self-righteousness anymore. Look at the evidence of your own life. You know this transition is real because the old triggers just don't work. When someone makes a mistake, the old you would have pounced. You would have used their flaw to build your own pedestal. But now, you look at their failure, and you see your own reflection. As Carl Jung observed, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. The urge to attack them feels useless. The old life, the old fake hierarchy where you were always the saint, is dying simply because you stopped feeding it. You cut the fuel. We are obsessed with adding things to our lives to become better. But true growth, the kind that hurts, is always about subtraction. It's the instinct to simplify. You aren't gaining a new moral code here. You are emptying the room. You are stripping away the complex, exhausting mental gymnastics you used to justify your own sins while crucifying others. You are clearing the space, and you have to empty the room completely before the truth has anywhere to sit down. And then comes the final, most counterintuitive sign of all. The symptom that proves you have crossed the line. The fear vanishes. The absolute terror of being seen as flawed or bad just evaporates. Because once you step down to the ground and admit that you are capable of the exact same darkness as the people you judge, what is there left to fear? You have nothing left to hide. You stop frantically trying to fix a moral image that was broken to begin with. The despair of pretending is entirely replaced by a brutal, heavy peace. So what happens next? Once the judge is dead? An internal expansion. The way you experience time actually changes. Without the constant, exhausting need to monitor everyone else's flaws, your decisions become dangerously light. Patience stops being a chore. It stops being this forced, polite mask you wear. Patience becomes your natural state, because you finally understand how incredibly fragile and flawed the human machine actually is. You expect people to fail? Because you know how easily you fail, the narrative inside your head violently shifts. You stop asking the world, "What happened to me?" And you start asking the mirror, "Who am I now?" The driving question changes. It is no longer, "What should I do to look good?" It becomes, "What am I no longer willing to fake?" You stop engaging in the complex drama of gossip. You reduce the complexity of your life to maintain absolute coherence. If it requires you to be a hypocrite to fit in, you simply set a boundary and walk away. But be careful. There will be a moment in the near future where doubt will creep in. Your mind, addicted for years to the high-stakes drama of being right, will sit in this new peace, and it will call it boredom. It will try to convince you that because you aren't angry, you are empty. Do not take the bait. Your brain is going through withdrawal from the dopamine of moral superiority. Sit still. Do not react. Learn to trust the stability of the flat ground. And let me be very clear. You do not owe the world an announcement. You don't need to post a manifesto about your new mindset. You don't need to explain to your judgmental friends why you don't want to tear people down with them anymore. Just be quiet. Let those relationships readjust. Some will survive, many will freeze and fade away. Let them. Losing the people who only bonded with you over mutual hatred isn't a loss, it is a recalibration. This radical detachment from fear translates into small, quiet, daily acts. It's saying no to an argument without a second thought. It's seeing someone mess up, and instead of giving a lecture, you just shrug and walk on. It is resting without the crippling guilt that you aren't doing enough to prove your worth. You are building a new version of yourself, a version that does not require the chaos of comparison to feel valid. You are anchored in reality, not in a fragile ego. But I will not lie to you, stepping off the pedestal means you have to grieve the view. Not having the fear of being bad doesn't mean you won't feel grief. You will miss the comforting illusion that you are pure. You will miss the easy certainty of black and white. You will feel the sting of realizing you are just a regular, flawed, entirely ordinary human being. Separate the feeling of missing the illusion from the urge to go back to it. Feeling that grief is not a weakness, it is the heavy tax you pay for emotional maturity. This is why the end of your old self feels so anticlimactic. Nobody was watching. There is no applause. Because all the heavy lifting, the letting go, the stripping of the ego, the brutal self-reflection was done in the dark, behind the curtain. When you finally step out, there is no grand finale. The only true signal that you have finished the work is pure, unbothered peace. So here's your verdict. You did not give up. You did not lose your morals. You simply concluded the performance. You finished the script. All that is required of you now is ruthless honesty. Stop faking it. Put the gavel down. Welcome to the ground level, where you are no better and no worse than anyone else. It is the only place where you never have to fight against yourself, ever again.